The grand hall of the Convergence Station fell silent as Ambassador Krell's son, Vaxer, circled the human girl like a predator sizing up prey. His chitinous armor gleamed under the artificial lights, each plate a testament to his warrior lineage. Around them, delegates from 40 star systems watched with varying degrees of interest and concern. Maya stood her ground, arms relaxed at her sides, her expression unreadable. She was small by human standards, barely reaching Vaxer's chest plate, and her simple gray uniform made her look even more insignificant among the elaborate ceremonial garb of the assembled dignitaries. "This is what Earth sends." Vaxer's translator rendered his clicking speech into universal standard. "A weak little creature who would break under proper gravity." He gestured dismissively. "Your species evolved on a death world, yet you look as fragile as a Centaurian silk moth." The Centaurian delegation bristled at the comparison, but Maya's lips curved into a slight smile. She had heard variations of this speech before. The galaxy had only recently made contact with humanity, and most species couldn't reconcile Earth's brutal environment with its seemingly delicate inhabitants. "Ambassador Krell," Maya said calmly, addressing Vaxer's father, "I came here for diplomatic talks, not a demonstration. Perhaps we could return to the trade negotiations." Vaxer stepped closer, his massive frame casting a shadow over her. "You see. Weakness. On my world, a warrior would accept the challenge immediately. But humans?" He made a sound that the translator interpreted as contemptuous laughter. "You hide behind words because you lack strength." The warlord's expression remained neutral, but his dorsal spines twitched, a sign of interest among his kind. He had heard reports about Deathworlders, about the impossible gravity and atmospheric pressure they endured, about the lethal fauna and toxic plants that shared their homeworld. Yet looking at this small human, he found himself doubting the accounts. "If you insist," Maya said softly, her tone almost apologetic. She rolled her shoulders, and several delegates noticed the smooth, controlled way she moved. "Standard contact rules. First to yield or incapacitation." Vaxer's mandibles spread in what might have been a grin. "Agreed." What happened next would be analyzed in military academies across 3 sectors for decades to come. Vaxer lunged forward with the speed that had made him champion of his homeworld's combat pits. His clawed hand swept toward Maya in an arc designed to force her backward, into a defensive position where his superior reach would dominate. She wasn't there. Maya had moved inside his guard with fluid grace, her center of gravity so low that Vaxer's sensory organs momentarily lost track of her. Before his neural pathways could process the new information, she had gripped his primary arm at 2 specific points, joints that every species in the galaxy possessed in some form. The leverage was perfect. The timing was flawless. Vaxer found himself airborne, his massive body following a parabolic trajectory that ended with a thunderous impact on the station's reinforced floor. The impact would have killed most species. For the heavily armored Vaxer, it simply knocked every molecule of air from his respiratory system. Maya maintained her hold, applying pressure that sent pain signals screaming through his nervous system. Not enough to damage, but enough to make her point crystal clear. "Yield," she said quietly, her voice steady despite having just thrown a creature 3 times her mass. Vaxer's hand tapped the floor twice, the universal signal of surrender. Maya released him immediately and stepped back, offering her hand to help him up. He stared at it for a long moment before accepting, his warrior's pride warring with dawning respect. Ambassador Krell leaned forward on his throne, his spines now fully erect with fascination. "How?" he demanded. Maya's expression remained professional, but there was a glint in her eyes. "On Earth, Ambassador, we don't just survive gravity that would crush most species. We live on a world where the oceans themselves would poison your biology, where the weather can kill in minutes, where apex predators hunt in coordinated packs. We didn't evolve to be the strongest or the fastest." She glanced at Vaxer, who was still catching his breath. "We evolved to be efficient. To use leverage and momentum and tactics because we had to." She turned to address the entire assembly. That's what makes a Deathworlder. Not weakness. Adaptation. The hall remained silent for a heartbeat longer, then erupted into chittering, clicking, and whistling as dozens of species began speaking at once. Ambassador Krell raised a hand for silence, his gaze fixed on Maya with new understanding. Perhaps, he said slowly, we should indeed return to those trade negotiations. I suspect Earth has much to teach us. Maya bowed slightly, a diplomatic smile on her face. That's what I've been trying to say, Ambassador. Vaxer, still rubbing his joints, made a sound that might have been a laugh. Never call a human weak, he muttered to the nearest delegate. I'm putting that in my campaign memoir.